Yo, get in, chop.
I'm a bit self-aware, sometimes it's fucked up, but life is gonna lie, so I ain't gonna slow up. I'm on a mission to change the face of mental health, kicking knowledge to my people, cause you know that health is wealth. It's your lucky day, cause you tuned into the greatest. Out here striving to survive, sometimes we fake it till we make it. If your mental health is slipping, then please don't touch that guy. Yo, what's up, you guys? It's your girl, Treaty LPC, and thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Self-Aware and Effed Up podcast. When I tell you guys that I am so excited to speak with this week's guest, I have known her since we went to grad school together at Troy State University, both of us mastering in clinical mental health. She is a licensed clinical mental health counselor. She specializes in crisis intervention as well as sex therapist. She is the owner of the Matlock Resource Center, and she's just an all-around amazing individual. I love her personality. She's always makes me laugh, and I think we are just going to have an amazing time today. Her name is Tamela McDonald, and as I said, she's a licensed clinical mental health professional. So without further ado, y'all go ahead and just welcome to the Self-Aware and Effed Up podcast, Miss Tamela McDonald. Hey, Tamela, hey. How you doing today?
Hey, y'all. I'm sleepy. How about you?
I am tired. It has been a day. It has been the longest day ever. And I'm just excited to finally be able to speak with you. I know we had some scheduling stuff going on before, but I'm really happy that you were able to make time to meet me, especially with everything that you have going on in your life. So I appreciate you for being here today. And really am interested in getting to know the other side of you, because I know the professional you.
I know.
But I want to know the real deal. I want to know what's underneath all of that. So we can go ahead and actually get started by having you tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you do.
So hey, y'all, I'm Tamela McDonald. Originally, I am from Dayton, Ohio, but grew up here in the Metro Atlanta area. A graduate from Troy University and Columbus State University. I love to travel. I am also the owner of Matlock Resource Center and also the owner of the Journey of Pleasure. You know, that's our sex toy line.
Okay.
I have 3 children, and yeah.
Gotcha. See, I just found out something new today. You mentioned the son, but I did not know you had 3 children. So that is new information.
3 adoptive children. So all my kids are adopted. So yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. So already learning new stuff. So I know we met at Troy, and life has been life since then. Like all kinds of shit's going on. And I didn't know about your sex therapy journey. Like that was a new part of you that I learned about just in passing in conferences and social media. What led you to sex therapy? Because that is a hot kind of thing these days, but people still don't really know a lot about it.
So it's an interesting journey, and let me explain, right? So actually, when I was at Columbus State University, I started out as a sex educator, like just educating about like HIV and condom negotiation, those kind of things, right? And I was actually going to school to become a high school band teacher. Like I wanted to teach kids and be a band teacher. But man, it was during my student teaching. I was like, F these kids, F this job. I don't even want this degree. I don't want nothing. I don't want nothing. So I quit school for 2 years, became a plus size model, sell sex toys. And it wasn't until I saw the movie Meet the Fockers. Okay. So in the movie Meet the Fockers, Barbara Streisand's character is what? A sex therapist. Okay. And I was like, yo, this can't be a real job. I mean, because you heard like Dr. Ruth and all those other folks. Yeah. Like I was like, you know what? Can I really do this job? And so I saw the requirements for it. And I was like, you know what? Say less. I'm going to do it. So then I became a member of ASEC, which is the American Association for Sex Educators and Counselors and Therapists. I know it's a mouthful. And made my journey that way. And I remember in grad school, I think it was like our first semester, our professor was like, well, hey, kind of make a decision, what kind of therapist you want to be. And everybody's like, I want to be a family therapist. I want to be a marriage therapist. I want to be this. And I was the only person like, yeah, I want to be a sex therapist.
Okay.
What? You want to be a sex therapist? Yeah, I want to talk to people about sex. And so, and trust me, my parents and family were not supportive of it at all. They was like, oh my God, you want to talk to people about sex? They're not going to talk to you about sex. Look at them. Now they send everybody and their mama and cousin to come talk to me about sex.
Yeah, that's a hell of a journey. Just because it's like, oh, I wanted to talk to you and
fuck them kids. And then, okay, I actually want to talk to people about sex. So definitely interesting journey there. But people are sometimes uncomfortable talking about sex. Like for me, like, I feel like even I get a little bit like, oh, okay, this is uncomfortable, so I'm gonna laugh or I'm gonna smile or something to be like okay with it. You need a moment? You good?
Yeah, no. Like I tell people all the time.
Yeah. What are some of the most like common things you kind of see people come? Because you're talking about your parents be referring folks to you, and I'm like, that's interesting.
So a lot of times, it's interesting how the trends go and stuff like that. Especially around COVID, baby, it was couples. It was because couples were sick of each other, or about the intimacy because it couldn't go anywhere. They had a different coping mechanisms. But now I'm starting to see a trend of a lot of young men who are in their late 20s, early 30s, who are having performance anxiety or even erectile dysfunction, which is not norm. Because usually, erectile dysfunction usually comes when you get older in the age, maybe in your late 50s, 60s, and stuff like that. But I'm talking about it's these young men who are not obese, who appear to look healthy, who have performance anxiety and ED issues.
Yeah, it's not really shocking. Like it should be shocking to me that that's the case, but I feel like a lot of times, like there's so much pressure put on men about sex and how they show up and how physically endowed they are, as well as, just the stigma of like, not being able to please a woman. And then you have so much access to pornography, which we know is not real. So that I can see why it would cause a lot of men to kind of be in that space.
Mm-hmm. Or thinking that they have to perform like these porn stars. Baby, these porn stars are drugged up. These porn stars have cut and edit. They stop and pause things. They connect things together. You don't need to be fucking for an hour or 2 hours. No woman wants that. No man wants that. They want your 30 minutes max, maybe 42.
Okay,
all
not
right,
42.
You got your nut. I got my nut. Now go to sleep.
Right. Yeah. But it romanticizes it. Like it makes it seem real. And so people, when their expectations don't meet what it looks like on Pornhub or Xhamster or wherever you go to get your porn, I'm an X videos girl myself. But when it comes to those sort of things, like it's not real, but we make it real. And it can mess up our relationships because we have this ideal of what our performance should look like. Is that a challenge you've seen at all?
Yeah. And speaking of relationships, now everybody and their mama and cousin, now all of a sudden they identify as poly. Okay. And so, these individuals want to have poly relationships. I'm like, okay, there's nothing wrong with poly relationships. But what does it look for you financially? What does it like for you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, sexually? Remember, all these people in your relationship with, you giving yourself all these bits and pieces. Do you have that much to spread out? Because if you're walking around, it only can last for 2 minutes. So each one going to get, or a person will get 2 minutes. Yeah, that doesn't sound too exciting at all.
Not 2 minutes. Okay. I can't with you. It's like, so here's my take. So I'm a lesbian. I don't understand some of the, with some of the stuff or whatever. Like I've had sex with men in the past, like in my early 20s or whatever. But when you say this 2 minute thing, like that's not a part of my world. Like, is that actually a thing where people just, they crashing out 2 minutes and this is the problem?
Yeah. Or recently, I've had a couple like lesbians who come in and say, hey, my partner wants it too long. Like, she's tired of me strapping up and she maybe gonna get 5 or 6 minutes and I'm done and I'm tapping out. And then she gets disappointed because like my legs hurt, my back hurt, my hips hurt. I'm like, okay, well, let's discuss about positionings, maybe some foreplay, maybe they extend out the time. So it could be a variety of things like health plays a part, diet plays a part, stamina plays a part. Are you exercising play a part? All of those factors play a part no matter what kind of dynamic that you have.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting because, when you say 5 minutes, at first I was like, how are you only being able to go 5 minutes with a strap? But it makes sense when you add in all of the physical elements because my left hip has been giving me problems for the last like since COVID. I'm like, look, I can't do this all day.
One of my clients, she was like, get my wife off of me. I'm like, what do you mean? She was like, I don't know what is about her, but her sex drive is too high right now. She wants it too much. Much. I said, okay, I try to explore options with them, like with toys and stuff like that, maybe doing some more foreplay. And she's like, nah, she just want to be strapped up all the time. And I'm like, okay, is this how y'all's relationship started? Like, well, yeah, it started that way. But now, my back is hurting, my hip is hurting, my knee is hurting. Okay, all right. So it's like that you two going to have to come to a compromise. And the wife's not trying to hear it. She's like, get it together. Get it together. Okay. Yeah. Or I'm going to get somebody else.
Yeah. And going back to the going to get somebody else piece, because the poly thing I'm seeing it more and more, and I have nothing against it. I affirm whatever people desire, but like there's a lot of people that I feel like they don't really do poly right. Like they think it's just, I can just sleep around, and they don't understand the rules and engagement. Like, do you work with a lot of poly couples in terms of how they negotiate like things like sex contracts and things of that nature in that world?
Yeah. So so as a sex therapist, I also work with like my clients are some are BDSM, kink, and poly and stuff. And it's something that we talk about, about make sure that you, especially people who want to be in ethical, non-monogamous relationships, and making sure that you're all on the same page and having those discussions. Are the values on alignment? Do everybody understand the rules and agreement and stuff? Is everyone on the same page? Yeah. And a lot of times what I've noticed when it comes to poly relationships is the unspoken expectations that mess people up, because you don't discuss about what you're expecting and like, hey, I expected this now, but I've kind of changed and I kind of want this now. But if you don't vocalize it, your partner's not going to read that, especially if you're in a poly relationship. So you kind of always have to advocate for yourself.
Right. Yeah. I see that a lot where the expectations piece is just not there or is not communicated, and it leads to a lot of challenges, especially like I think it's I can't remember the acronym for it, but it's like the one where people, like one person is more of childlike in that particular fantasy role of them referring to their partner in that way. Do you know that particular?
Are you talking about as far as like BDSM or kink, or are you talking more in the poly world?
It's BDS or kink, but it's like it is a part of the poly community. Okay, where like there's referring to their partners like daddy, and there are certain like aspects that are childlike in that presentation.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's more of the kink side.
Kink side. Okay.
Yeah. Now let me tell you about my own story about that one. Okay. Because let me tell you about my own story about that one. Because this is before I became a sex therapist. I kind of got thrown into it, right? Ironically, by one of my sorority sisters. I won't say your name, Sarah. I won't say your name, but I appreciate you. And so she's like, hey, do you want to go to this house party with me? I said, sure. I do that. And this was in Columbus.
Not Columbus.
On the military base, okay? Right, wow. Okay. I said, sure. And so she was like, well, just bring a dish and wear something sexy and comfortable. I said, cool, bet. I'm not thinking anything about it. I was like, all right, I'm thinking I'm giving it away. No, I get there and it's like all these different things, but like these different kinks going on. People are like having sex in front of me. And I'm like, bitch, what did you bring me to? She's like, here, just take these shots and you'll be fine. Next thing you know, I'm frolicking with folks and having a good time, right? I just needed a couple of shots to relax the sister, and I was good.
It must have been something else in that shot. Just
this started. I'm telling you though, but on the military base, right? Don't let the looks fool you. It be popping.
Gotcha. Yeah, I hear a lot about like trapeze and different places up here in the Atlanta area. And I know, what was it? Candy that had like the sex dungeon. That was a big thing. I don't know if they still do that. But that world
even is Tokyo Valentino off of Cheshire Bridge.
Girl, see, all the spots. I don't know about I'm a good little Christian girl. But But I've always been intrigued by stuff like that. I don't know, like, I don't know. I feel like my just being raised Southern Baptist, like I feel like there's just still so many restrictions. I feel like a prude a lot of times when it comes to sex. And so I like to talk about it, but it's still, those aspects of it that I've not been able to explore. How do you work with a client on like unlocking those parts of themselves that maybe they are afraid to explore?
Yeah, I can't remember the author's name, but there's a book called Sexuality and the Black Church. And she really breaks down like the mental aspect and stuff like that, because we're so conditioned from the church, that, about the Bible, this and the Bible, that, and like, it's a sin about for our sensuality and sexuality and stuff like that, compared to our counterparts where they're kind of a little bit more encouraged to embrace their sensuality and embrace their sexuality. Where in the Black church, it was like, if you was having sex before you got married, or even, being in the same sex relationship, that you was going to hell or something like that. And so learning how to move past those stigmas and kind of learn how to identify your own values that's most important to you. When it comes to finding your sensuality and sexuality, it's going to take a lot of unrooting, to put that foundation in to embrace your own sensuality and sexuality. Like I actually had a client and we've been working together since 2017, 2018. And she's finally got to a healthy place of being comfortable with herself, being comfortable to be able to look at herself naked in the mirror because she thought it was a sin, or being able to touch herself, and please herself because she thought it was a sin, or just being able to feel comfortable wearing something, not too revealing, but still something sexy without feeling bad about it. And so it's going to take some time to unroot some of those values that the church has placed into us.
Yeah, it's deep. That how we're indoctrinated, it is really deep in terms of that, because it took me a while to be able to come out. And even with that, I only felt safe coming out in certain spaces because of what I was taught. And, the whole idea of praying away the gay. And now it's like sex is something that people have so much access to. Like back in the day, you had to go, look
to the library, to the gas station, to that cousin who had like tapes in the back, those folks, right?
Right. But now it's so accessible, but there's still like a lot of things that are uncomfortable for people to talk about. How do you navigate having conversations about sex with people in the therapeutic setting? Because sex is hard for some people to talk about because there's so much about it that we were not allowed to talk about growing up.
Well, let me tell you that. So for me, I've always been curious about sex, not in like the act of sex, but like, not me having sex, but like people who would go crazy about it. On TLC, it used to be like the science of sex used to come on back in the day. And it used to show how the body responds to sex, be it physically, psychologically, all that kind of stuff, how the chemistry, how sex affects us, everyone. And people don't realize sex begins at birth and sex ends when you die. So from the cradle to the grave, your sensuality and sexuality is all in that whole aspect, because it's not just like being intimate or physical with someone. It's how we carry ourselves. It's how we see ourselves. It's in our relationships, how we talk to people and stuff like that. All of that plays a part in our sensuality and everything. And so when it comes to, talking to my clients about it, I try to meet them where they're at first. Let me kind of gauge where they're at and try to see and identify where is it that they want to go with their sexuality? What is it that they're striving for? And again, is it a realistic expectation? Okay. You can't be like, oh, I want to be like this person over here. Remember, they're not for real. They just do that for the Instagram, or they do that just for OnlyFans, or they do that for social media. So let's set some realistic expectations of what you can strive for, and let's work for those things and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I recently saw a sex therapist, specifically like within our relationship, because I feel like my wife and I, we struggle with having conversations about sex. I feel like a lot of times we did, because I think we came into the relationship with our own expectations of what sex should look like. And then we didn't talk about that for the first part of our relationship. And, it's new, it's fun, it's fresh, and we're just doing it and we're enjoying it, but we're not really communicating about the things that we don't like and the things that, and that was a big point of contention, because it's like, well, you liked it when we first got together. So what's the problem now? And, there's like, she kind of got caught up on me saying like, oh, well, sex is a stress reliever. And that's all she heard. And so it changed our sex life for years, because it was like, in her mind, I only wanted sex for sexual release or the release of anxiety versus no, that's not really what I meant. But, words, I think that started our problems around communication. And we've been really working with our therapist. Shout out to Sakina. We've been working with her on kind of breaking down some of those things, but it's still uncomfortable as fuck to talk about.
And that's the thing. And to make adequate changes, you have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. You're going to have those conversations. And also, too, like in your relationship, like you said, when you first met, it's fun. We're in the honeymoon phase. We're having a good time. Right. But then once you get past that 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, that sex is going to look differently. Are you too open to the changes that's going to come with that, be it mentally, physically, financially, emotionally, spiritually? Those changes are going to happen. And so a lot of times couples have difficulty adjusting to those changes that are coming in their relationships.
Right. Yeah. Like I told you, my left hip, like, I was like, I gotta lose some weight. I can't be doing this shit. Like, I'm getting the fuck after 40. Bitch, I'm like, no.
And, and for me, like after sex, I used to like, I'll be cuddled and stuff like that. Now I'm like, get off me. Right. I'm fucking hot. I'm on fire. What is the air on? Is the air on 63? Get the fan. Get the ice water. I am hot.
Okay, baby. After a certain age, you gotta have that water by the bed. You gotta. it be different. Okay, it just be different. But I love that you are so open. In terms of your interest in it and just being really free, just to be who you are. That's one of the things that your personality has always been very big. And like I remember days in the ER, you coming in.
And so my sorority sister and I, we got this thing called story time. So I have a story for you. Okay. And this story is how I became a dame. Now, what is the dame, you ask? It is basically like a female dominatrix.
Okay.
Like you have a dom and you have a dame. Okay. And so I went on a trip. I was going to like a singles trip and stuff like that. And we was in Dominican Republic, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I'm checking in because I'm by myself. I'm checking in and stuff like that. And this guy walks up to me. He's like, oh my gosh, I just love your godliness about you. And I'm like, thank you. All right. I'm thinking he being weird. Keep on walking. It's like that. He's like, well, can I serve you while you're here? Like, do you work here? He's like, no, I just want to serve you because I want you to be my dame while we're here. Okay. Hold, please. Let me reach out to my frat brother because I know he's in this lifestyle and I don't even know what this is and stuff like that. So let me ask him. Let me see clarity first. Okay. So I was like, okay. He was like, girl, you got this. Do this. You do A, B, C, D, F, G. You set this foundation. I said, okay, bet. So then this other guy who's there too, basically, this is the same trip. I'm like, I don't know what I was exuding on this trip. Maybe I was just happy to be away from the ER. Maybe I was just happy to be away from work, from my kids. I don't know. And he was like, oh my gosh, I just love the dominance in you. I just want to, how can I serve you? How can I please you? Okay. You can carry this bag. Thank you. And I was like, oh my God, I got two men who want to serve me. Oh my God, this is going to be so great. All right, Fred, what do I do? What do I say? How do I handle this? Because again, I had not been in this situation. And for me, I believe in educating, meaning like, if you're going to be like in a certain lifestyle, you need to get yourself educated, know the proper rules and etiquettes of the situation. But for me at this time, I didn't have the time. I needed to microwave this quick as possible so I could have a good experience. Okay. And so long story short, on this trip, 5 days in Dominican Republic, I had these two men to get in my drinks, get in my clothes, washing me, bathing me, drying me, washing my hair, sexually doing whatever I wanted them to do to me. It was great. Or if I wanted to do things to them, it was great. So then after that trip, I was like, say, Liz, I need to find me a mentor. And so there's actually here in Atlanta, there is a femdom community. Don't even realize it. Right. Okay. And they have mentors and stuff like that can kind of help guide you in the right direction of properly being a female dominatrix.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you just went to DR and adopted a whole new...
Right. I was like, what is this? Say less. I'm here.
Okay, I got you. I'm here for it. Again, that's that openness. That's the just you being you. I love that. Yeah. So I want to switch gears a little bit because I know we've explored a lot of what you do in the sex world, and you kind of, just are very much an open book. But I want to know, how do you personally connect with the idea of being self-aware and fucked up?
Well, self-aware, you kind of got to know who you is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And who you are. As you know, what they say, who you be, what your name is, where you from. And so me, Tamela R. McDonald, I've always been self-aware of who I am and what I'm striving for. It's always been when I was younger, it was a hesitation of being acceptable because, back in the day, it really wasn't acceptable. Like, I identify as bisexual. So, I go both ways. And, back in the day, that wasn't cool and stuff. But now we embrace it. We have so many other, sexualities and stuff like that. It's okay just to be who you are. It's fucked up. Everybody fucked up in some kind of way. Everybody managed their fucked up differently. The question is, how do you manage your fuck up?
Gotcha. And how do you manage your fucked up, since you're trying to put it back on other people? I want to know your fucked upness.
I manage mine, by taking trips, by practicing some self-care. My favorite place I like to go to is Paradise Valley here in Georgia. It's the nude resort where I get to be naked outside, getting some vitamin D for the body and being free. Yes, there's a nude resort here. There's a nude resort. Yes. Or even going to Jamaica and going to hedonism, the nude resort out there. Yes. So that's how I manage my fuck up.
So you be outside, you embrace it all, because I'd be scared to go to one of those places. Like, I don't know what is wrong with me.
And it's crazy. And I'm so appreciative of my partners because I'm poly as well too. But I'm appreciative of my partners because I tell them all the time, I feel more confident and comfortable when I'm naked than I am clothed. And I say that because when I'm naked, you see what you get. You see all these dimples, you see these rolls, you see these stretch marks, you see all this kind of stuff. I said, but clothes, we can, wear girdles, we can snatch stuff, we can hide stuff and tuck stuff. Excuse me. But then, once those clothes come off, are you going to like me for who I am? Are you still going to be attracted to me and stuff? So going to the nude resort, and I'm telling you, that is the best thing. Getting some vitamin D for your whole body.
Gotcha.
Does the body good.
Man, I got to do some self-work because clearly I'm not there.
Yeah. You never let your yoni get no sun?
Listen, no. I be pulling. I get everything that the bathing suit covered. Now I'll be outside in a nice bathing suit and it might not cover everything, but it's going to cover what it needs to cover.
There's a class out in Cali that allows you to go outside and you basically lay with your legs up, let the sun recharge your yoni and stuff like that. Okay. Supposedly it's supposed to help, give your yoni this energy and tidy. Now, I can't say I support that, but I'm just telling you what I know on the streets and stuff and everything. Okay. That's supposed to be helpful for your yoni.
Okay. Well, I mean, my yoni has been unsunned, so... I have to get this damn seasonal effective light on it. I don't know, but I do know.
Also, too, and they talk about it. Have you ever seen the show on Netflix called The Pleasure Principle? Okay. So when you have a chance, you and your partner watch The Pleasure Principle on Netflix. Also, too, have you seen Sex, Love, Goop?
I did. We saw that like maybe a couple of years ago.
Okay, about the different couples and stuff like that, right? And they're going to the various issues and stuff like that. I'd always tell people they kind of gives you a little bit more aspect to the sex therapy world.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've heard about. I did watch a part of Sex, Love, and Goop. I don't know if we finished it, but I have to check out the other one. Because I need some help too. I told you these episodes. I be trying to help people, but I be needing. And
let me just say, people like, oh, so you go in the bedroom and you tell people how to do certain positions. No, that's illegal in Georgia. But out in Cali and in New York, there are people who are sex coaches that can go into the bedroom with you and help guide you and your partner on various techniques, positions, and stuff like that can help the intimacy better.
Gotcha. I feel like they did that on an episode of Sex, Love, and Goop. I vaguely remember that. Yeah. So, girl, listen. I needed this conversation, clearly. Don't be trying to send me no bill. But But I so appreciate your time. So I want you to let the audience know, how can they connect with you if they want to book your services or just want to connect with you on social media?
Sure. Well, you can go to our website, matlockresourcecenter.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Matlock Resource and on TikTok at Matlock Resource Center as well.
Okay. And Matlock, please give me the lowdown on that. Because I love Matlock the show, and I just want to know how you came up with it.
This is my rationale, right? So my last name was McDonald. I couldn't call it McDonald Resource Center because then everybody would think I was connected to McDonald's.
Okay.
So Matlock is my family name.
Okay.
So Matlock comes from my grandma, who kind of helped with my self-esteem, encouraged me to be comfortable with who I am. And it's okay. If you like sex, you like sex. Just don't get pregnant. But enjoy yourself. Have a good time. Just don't get pregnant.
Oh, yeah. All right, cool beans. I was just hoping it would have a connection to Matlock being Matlock from the 90s, or maybe Madeline Matlock from the new show. But I love that it's connected to your grandmother and it has some meaning, because I've always been kind of curious about that. But thank you so much, Tamela. I really appreciate your openness. I really appreciate you taking time out.
No problem.
Prayers.
I appreciate you having me. I'm glad we can have this conversation. I know we haven't talked since grad school, but we see each other in passing at a conference. Like, hey, girl, all right, bye. I gotta go to this class.
Okay, are you going this year?
No.
Okay. Hey, nobody damn going this year. I'll be down there by myself eating some good seafood though.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Guys, please make sure that you connect with Tamela. The information of how you can connect with her will be in the description of this episode. Also, be sure to follow me, Tree the LPC, on all social media platforms under the handle Tree the LPC. Until next time, be safe, be well, and make sure that you take care of your mental health.